Hi everyone, it's Wednesday. God knows what the date is. It's all a bit of a blur, but things are going crazy here at Meet Magic. We're building a new platform, which is very, very exciting. And this is another video in the series of trying to have some of the most important meetings and how you should be thinking about having those meetings to, for example, reduce employee turnover. Now, we are becoming a bit of a specialist in meetings and how to get the most from your team members. So we're sort of doing a bit of a series on things like connection and inspiration and alignment and feedback, etc. Stuff that's important and things that you should be doing in some of these meetings. We've sort of covered off a little bit about connection, and this one is going to be this meeting tip is going to be about inspiration. And when I think about inspiration and having meetings, I keep coming back to this thing around football. For me, Nottingham Forest is a bit of an inspiration at the moment. We're in the top six, so it's kind of crazy how we've gone from the bottom of the league table in Nottingham in the UK to literally being in the playoffs. And I know some of the reasons why our players in Nottingham Forest are playing really good. It's because they've all got trackers on them, and there's no hiding. Every player is judged on how fast they run, how far they run, how much mileage they're doing, and how involved they are in the game. And if you're not pulling your weight, it's going to be pretty clear that you're not pulling your weight. And I can't help but think how that would relate to meetings. Just imagine if we start to track our meetings and the impact it would have. No hiding. If you're going to turn up to a meeting, be present. And I think for the leaders who are running these meetings, it's important that you have a level of inspiration in these meetings and start to think about having an agenda that is inspiring. I think as a founder, one of the questions that I always ask myself is why do we do what we do? It's a critical question that I need to ask, and it's part of my job, I think, to help the team with their thinking. And just asking that question myself is why do we do what we do? It helps me help them to 10x their thinking. And I think that can only be when you start to think about the bigger impact that they're making working with Meet Magic. It gives them a chance to really start to engage a lot deeper rather than just being a cog in a system. And for me, I think 10x in their thinking is just one thing, but for me as a founder, it's about things like ensuring that the culture is right, ensuring that the business outcomes or the vision is aligned, and that our purpose is all on track. And these are some of the things around effective execution of meetings that we've noticed over the years become very, very important, especially when it comes down to things like leadership. And I think, and I've seen this quite a lot now over the past sort of few weeks, the difference between leaders who work for big companies that are often, it's not their fault that they're in that space. It's just that sometimes these big companies have traditional ways of doing things, and those traditional ways of doing things are kind of transactional. And that leadership style in those meetings is transactional. It's not inspirational. What I mean by transactional is, I mean that they will have their team of people and they'll set tasks, and they'll come back and at the end of next week and check on those tasks and make sure they've done them. And if they've done them, they'll tick the box and issue some more tasks, and then let them go and do those tasks. That's a transactional kind of leadership. It's not inspirational at all. For me, what we tend to think about is how we can have transformational leadership, and this for me is where inspiration comes in. You have the team sit down, and they know we're going over there. That's our target over there. So a transformational leader will sit down and say, okay, show me what your 90-day plan is and what your goals are for the 90 days. I'm not setting those goals. This is up to the team to set their own goals about where they want to be in the next 90 days, which is all obviously aligned to the 12-month strategy and the 3-year strategy and so on. So we sit down and we say things like, okay, what's your 90-day outcome? And this puts them in the mindset of, I need to get there, so I've got to 10x my thinking to get over there. And this is all great stuff for, to make them, to help them get more out of their day and whatever, and make sure that the things that they're doing are actually moving the needle, not just stuff that's ticking the box. So we look at things like the 90-day outcomes, and that's a real key thing for any leader to have. And then what are the 2 to 3 strategies that you're going to have that are going to help you achieve those outcomes? And then what are the 3 to 5 tasks or actions that you're going to take today that's going to get you on the road to that? And I think when you bucket all that together, it becomes quite inspirational, because the team are not just following a to-do list that I've set, they're setting their own to-do list. And that for me is creating new leaders. And I know the team are doing that themselves. They're sitting down, they're going, okay, we're going over there, it's 90 days. We want to have X achieved in 90 days. So I need to do this, and this is the action I'm going to take to get there. So anyway, I think that's some of the questions that you can ask. We're going to put in the comments, but what would you like to improve over the next quarter? A great question to ask in your team meeting. It'll help inspire them. How do you think you could accelerate the company's effort? A great question to ask. Is there anything I could do to invest more in your growth? What a great question for a leader to ask. So anyway, we'll put a few more in the comments, but that's our little video on inspiration. Have a cracker. I don't know how to turn this thing off now. I've got to try and search through all of my screens to turn this off. I can't even find it. I've got too many tabs open. Okay, found it. See you later.